polynomials. You simply multiply the numbers, and when you multiply the letters, you have to add the powers. So for example, if you have 8m to the third power and you multiply that times 3m squared, it'll be negative 8 times 3, which will give you a negative 24 when you multiply just the numbers. When you multiply m to the third times m squared, you add the powers and that will give you m to the fifth. So let's try another one. Let's say we have a 6k squared on the outside, and we'll multiply that times 3k squared plus 2k plus 1. Well, you have to take this 6k squared and bunny hop it. So when you multiply times the first one, it'll be 6 times 3, which is 18. Then you have k squared times k squared, which will give you k to the fourth, because you have to add the powers. Then you take it times the next one. So 6 times 2 will give you 12, and then k squared, this is really k to the first, will give you k to the third. And then you take it to the last one. 6k squared times 1 would just be 6k squared. So the result would be 18k to the fourth plus 12k to the third plus 6k to the second. Okay, let's say we have 4z and we're multiplying it. So that's going to be we multiply it times 2z plus 1. And then we're going to take all of that and multiply it times the 3z minus 4. This is a little different because you have 3 pieces. So first you want to do 2 pieces at a time, which is these first 2 pieces here. So when we multiply bunny hop the inside, we have 4z times 2z, which gives us an 8z to the second because the power is 1 and 1. Then 4z times 1, which gives us a 4z. This is still in parentheses because we have to multiply it times the 3z minus 4. Now this is a little different because we have 2 terms in the first parentheses and 2 terms in the second parentheses. So what we have to do is pick one parenthesis and we pick the first one. We have to take each term and multiply it times everything in the second parentheses. So I have 8z times 3, which gives me a 24z squared. And then 8z times negative 4, which gives me a minus 32z. So I'm through with that, so I take the 4z. So I take 4z times 3z, which gives me a positive 12z squared. And then 4z times negative 4, which gives me a minus 16z. So I look for like terms. I have 24z and 12z. So that adds to give me 36z squared. When you're combining like terms, the powers of the letters don't change. They stay the same. And I have a negative 32z minus 16z. So these are both negative, so you would add them. And that gives me a negative 48z. So the result is 36z squared minus 48z. Okay, last one. This one's a little long, so let's say we have m to the second power minus 2mp plus p to the second power. And we're multiplying that times m to the second power plus 2mp minus p to the second power. So, again, you pick one set of parentheses. Usually it's safer to pick the first set. And you take each term and multiply times everything in the second set of parentheses. So I'm going to start with the m squared. So I'm going to take it times the first term, m squared times m squared. That gives me m to the fourth. Then I take it times the second term, m squared times 2mp. Well, the m squared does nothing to the 2 and the p, but for the m, it's going to add to that power. So it gives me a positive 2m to the third p. Then I take it times the last one. Because there are 2 different letters, all you can do is put them together. So positive m squared times negative p squared gives me a minus mp squared. Doesn't matter if you put minus p squared m, it'll still be the same. Then you take the second term, so you got a negative 2mp times m squared. Again, nothing happens to the 2 and the p, but the m's, they add power, so I end up having a minus 2m to the third power times p. And then a minus 2mp times a positive 2mp. Well, the two 2's multiply to give me 4. And I apologize, this is going to be a minus. So minus 2mp, minus 2 times positive 2 is a minus 4. Then the m times the m gives me an m squared. And the p times the p gives me a p squared. So it's a minus 4m squared p squared. And then minus 2mp times a minus p squared gives me a positive 2mp to the third. So right now, I just did the first two terms. Now I still have one last term, which is the p squared. I'm going to put that at the bottom. So p squared times m squared. That gives me a p squared m squared when you put it together. And then p squared times 2mp gives me a positive 2mp to the third, because I would add the powers of the p's. And then the p squared times the negative p squared gives me a negative p to the fourth, because you add the powers. So now that I have everything multiplied out, I need to look for like terms to add up. I have an m to the fourth, and I don't see any other m to the fourth anywhere. So since that's the highest power, I'm going to put that first. Then I can put the minus p to the fourth next. And because I used those already, I'm going to cross them out so I won't accidentally use them again. Okay, I have a 2m to the third p. You can only put that with another m to the third p. So I see another minus 2m to the third p, so they will cross each other out because one's positive, one's negative. So that's good. Then next I have minus p mp squared. So I'm looking for another mp squared. I don't see any. So what I'm going to do is bring that down. Minus mp squared. Then next on my list I have a minus 4m squared p squared. I see a p squared m squared. That is the same as m squared p squared, because it doesn't matter, because if you have mp, that's the same as pm. So therefore the m squared p squared is identical to the p squared m squared. So I can add those two together. That's going to give me, actually it's still a negative. That's going to give me a minus 3 m squared p squared. Because what you have is you have a minus 4 here, positive 1 here. So minus 4 plus 1 is a negative 3. So I cross these two out so I won't use them. Then I have a positive 2mp to the third and another positive 2mp to the third. So what that will give me is a positive 4mp to the third. And since I've used all the terms, this is my result. M to the fourth minus p to the fourth minus mp squared minus 3m squared p squared plus 4mp to the third.